Gold Cap Road Tunnels. Gold Cap Road is a winding route through the wilderness of central Colorado. The 56-kilometer stretch has 3 tunnels, imaginatively named 1, 2, and 3. A local legend says that a school bus full of children was traveling the road in 1987, when Tunnel 3 collapsed on top of it, and killed everyone inside. Today, you can hear the giggles of children in the first 2 tunnels, but if you stand close to the entrance of the 3rd, you hear screams. When you pass through the 3rd tunnel in your car, you will leave with mysterious handprints on your windows. People have even put videos of it happening online, with a totally legit disclaimer. Unfortunately, it's not true. Or rather fortunately, because that means a bunch of children didn't get killed. At least, if they did, no one has been able to find any mention of it in the news reports of the time. Tunnel 3 partially collapsed in 1987, but no one was hurt. Nevertheless, there are also tales of rail workers haunting the place, so you could catch a glimpse of one or those. Even if you don't experience anything out of the ordinary, the scenery is stunning, so you might prefer to visit during the daytime anyway. Hoosac Tunnel. The Hoosac Tunnel in Massachusetts is an interesting piece of civil engineering. When it opened in 1876, it was the longest tunnel in North America, and the 2nd longest in the world. Yet the workplaces of the 19th century aren't remembered for their safety culture, and those involving explosives inside mountains were worse than most. By the time it was finished, Hoosac Tunnel had very much earned its nickname, the Bloody Pit. The worst of the many accidents during construction occurred October 17, 1867. Fumes leaking from a gas light met a candle, and caused an explosion, sending a wave of flame and debris down the main shaft. 13 people died, and when a worker was lowered to investigate, he emerged sputtering, and saying "No hope, no hope." The shaft flooded, and bodies floated to the top. They were among 195 people killed during the 24-year project. Tales of ghosts began even before the tunnel was finished. In 1865, 3 explosives engineers, known as Brinkman, Nash, and Kelly, were working in the tunnel. Kelly set off one charge too early, burying his colleagues. Kelly disappeared not long afterwards, and was found strangled to death in the tunnel. The murder was never solved. It may have been friends of Brinkman and Nash seeking vengeance, but many workers believed it was the spirits of the dead men that had done it. Workers reported hearing moans of pain and were too scared to enter the tunnel at night. After the 1867 disaster, people reported seeing apparitions of miners on the mountainside. Not all reports of the ghosts are bad. Joe Imboko worked in the tunnel in the 1970s, and claimed that disembodied voices twice warned him of dangers, and saved him from being flattened by a train. Shanghai Tunnels. To be forced to work as prostitutes, while there's no direct evidence, local legend says that the victims were transported and held in the underground tunnel system beneath Portland's Old Town. This legend has made the tunnels extremely popular with ghost hunters. Most people that claim ghostly activity report a woman in a white dress. Others say they hear harsh male whispers, telling them to get out or, perhaps more worryingly, stay. Another ghost reported by the tunnel's tour guides is Joshua, a 9-year-old boy, who used to empty chamber pots for money. The tour guides have a lot of stories of sounds and apparitions. While they may believe what they report, they do so with drama. The tunnel's main curator, Michael P. Jones, has the demeanor of an unassuming horror film character. If nothing else, he was able to thoroughly creep out one local TV news presenter. If this was a horror film, she'd probably have been among the ghost's first victims. Big Bull Tunnel. Big Bull Tunnel is a short trail tunnel in Virginia. If you're wondering, there's also a Little Bull Tunnel. If Virginia's 19th century rail builders had a sense of humor, Big Bull would be the shorter of the two. but sadly it's about 4 times the length of its cousin. It's also the home of some particularly nasty phantoms. 2 workers are known to have died in Big Bull. A man was scalped in 1901, and another fell off a train in 1904. Even before that, locals had claimed the tunnel was haunted. The legend became prominent in 1905, when a freight train broke down just outside the entrance. One of the trainmen tried to hurry back through the tunnel, to put warning flags on the other side, but he returned to his 2 colleagues pale and shaken. He claimed to have heard noises no man could stand. The other 2 went to investigate, and they heard groans and screams of pain coming from the walls. The bravest of the 3 asked aloud what was going on. "Remove that awful weight from my body," came the first reply, before a second voice said, "They are drinking my blood." The men tried to find a gap or a crack, maybe someone was playing a trick, but there was nothing. They made a swift exit, and the Pittsburgh Press reported that. The story was generally credited by others at the time. Moonville Tunnel. The town of Moonville, Ohio would probably be long forgotten if not for its rail tunnel. In fact, if the tunnel wasn't there, the town might never have existed. The tunnel was built when a local landowner offered a shortcut to the rail company building a track towards Cincinnati. This allowed him to haul coal and clay, and a few small settlements sprung up for people to take advantage. Moonville was among them, and its population peaked at about 100 in 1870. The railway around the tunnel seemed almost designed to be a death trap. It was thin, and it led out onto a trestle above a high canyon that was itself just wide enough to fit the rail tracks. Given that it was a significant shortcut compared to walking around the valley, at least 5 people died after being hit by trains, the most recent in 1986. The line is no longer in use, except by an infamous phantom. There are a few stories of the ghost's origins. In some versions he was simply a drunk who took the tunnel as a shortcut home. When he heard a train coming, he waved his lantern at it, but it didn't stop in time. One story says that during a hard winter, the town was running desperately low on supplies. Trains were passing by but not stopping, so locals hatched a plan to get someone to stand in the tunnel and wave a lamp to stop the train. The person they chose fell asleep and ran into the tunnel too late. The train killed him. The lantern-waving man is said to still be there, trying to flag down trains with his lantern. Some reports say that the rail company installed a signal at the mouth of the tunnel and told drivers to ignore any lights they saw inside. The story has inspired songs, and there's even a novel about the story of a conductor that met an unfortunate fate there.